In 2017, in a quiet warehouse somewhere in Switzerland, a team of workers wearing protective gloves spent several weeks taking apart watches. The watches were brand new. They had never been worn. Some of them were Cartier, some were Vacheron Constantin, some were IWC and Piaget and Jaeger-LeCoultre. They had been built, polished, packaged, and shipped to authorized dealers across Europe and Asia. They had then sat on the shelves of those dealers for months without selling. The Swiss luxury company that owned all 5 brands, Richemont, made a decision. Rather than discount the watches, rather than reroute them to other markets, rather than donate them or write them off, or do almost anything else, the company chose to take them back. And then they destroyed them. The total value of the watches that were destroyed in this 2-year period, between 2015 and 2017, was about $539 million. $500 million in fully built, brand new luxury Swiss watches, taken apart by hand, cases recycled, movements stripped for parts, the remainder in many cases simply destroyed. This is the story of why a watch company, in the year of one of the worst sales declines in its history, would rather burn its own product than let you buy it at a discount. The Richemont Group is one of the largest luxury companies in the world, headquartered in Geneva. It is family-controlled, ultimately by South African billionaire Johann Rupert, whose net worth is approximately $7 billion. The group owns Cartier, the largest jeweler in the world. It also owns Van Cleef & Arpels, Montblanc, Dunhill, and a portfolio of Swiss watch brands that include some of the most prestigious names in the industry: Vacheron Constantin, Jaeger-LeCoultre, Piaget, Panerai, WC, A, Lang, and Son, and of course Cartier itself, which sells more watches than any of the others. In 2014, Richemont's specialist watch division was generating roughly $4 billion a year in revenue. The watches were going out the door faster than the company could make them. Then a series of things happened. The Chinese government, under President Xi Jinping, launched a public anti-corruption campaign that specifically targeted the practice of giving expensive watches as gifts to officials. The watch market in China collapsed. Hong Kong, the staging point for many of the European brands' Asia operations, saw watch sales fall by more than 30% in a single year. The Apple Watch was launched in 2015 and immediately captured the entry-level luxury market. The Swiss franc in January of 2015 was unpegged from the euro and surged in value, making every Swiss watch suddenly more expensive overseas. Richemont's watches did not stop being made. The factories did not slow down. The product continued to ship to authorized dealers worldwide. But the watches, once they reached the dealers, started to sit, and then they started to pile up. By 2016, dealers across Europe and Asia were holding far more watches than they could sell. The pressure on Richemont, in the trade journal language of the time, was acute. What happened next is the part most people in the watch industry know about, and most people outside of it have never heard. Richemont went to its dealers and offered to buy the watches back, not at a discount, but at full wholesale. Richemont repurchased $278 million worth of unsold Cartier watches in 2016. It repurchased $203 million more, mostly from the specialist watch brands, in 2017. That adds up to $539 million in total. The watches were collected and sent back to the Richemont Group's warehouses. And then they were destroyed. The reasoning was given by the company's chairman, Johann Rupert, on an investor call. He said dealers were being force-fed like geese producing foie gras. He called the inventory situation unsustainable. He said the worst possible outcome for any luxury watch brand was to have its product appear, at a discount, on a website like Amazon. Richemont's chief financial officer, Burkhard Grund, later confirmed the destruction publicly. He said, "We do not believe that having our inventory in the gray market will help long-term brand equity, so that is why we bought it back." The phrase gray market is industry shorthand for the network of unauthorized resellers, both online and physical, where unsold luxury goods end up at deep discounts. The head of the watch division at LVMH, Richemont's largest competitor, called this network the industry's cancer. Within the trade, the gray market is regarded as the single largest threat to luxury brand pricing. The economics, when you sit with them, are striking. A Cartier Santos, when it leaves the factory, costs Richemont a few $1,000s to manufacture. The retail price is around $8,000. If that watch ends up on the gray market and sells for 40% off, the consumer is happy. The gray market dealer makes a profit, and Cartier's brand image, in the company's view, is permanently damaged. A buyer somewhere has now learned that this product, which Cartier marketed as scarce and exclusive, is actually available at a deep discount if you know where to look. That buyer, having learned that lesson once, is unlikely to ever pay full retail again. Cartier's solution is simple: take the watches back, pay the dealer for them in full, and destroy them. The cases are often recycled. The movements are stripped for parts and used in future production. The bracelets, the dials, the hands, and the boxes are not reused. The actual watches, as objects, no longer exist. This practice is not unique to Richemont. The British fashion brand Burberry, in 2017 alone, burned approximately $38 million worth of unsold clothing, accessories, and perfume. Hermès is widely believed to do the same. Chanel is rumored to do the same. Louis Vuitton has been accused, in court documents in France, of the same practice. The pattern across high-end European luxury is consistent. The product is destroyed. The brand is preserved. In Richemont's case, the buybacks did eventually achieve what the company wanted. By 2019, the watch division had stabilized. New products were launched. Sales returned to growth. The Cartier Tank, in 2023, became the company's single best-selling watch reference in over 50 years. The strategy, in the financial sense, worked. But there is, in 2026, a complication. In its most recent earnings reporting for the fiscal year ending in March of 2025, Richemont's specialist watchmakers division reported revenue down 13%. By the first half of fiscal year 2026, the watch operating margin had compressed to 3.2%. For context, Cartier's jewelry division in the same group had an operating margin above 30%. The watch business inside Richemont is today in worse financial shape than it was during the buybacks of 2016. The market is doing now what the buybacks were designed to prevent. Watches are sitting on dealer shelves. Discounts are creeping back. The independent watch brands FP Journe and others are pricing Cartier and Vacheron out at auction in 2025 for the first time in recent memory. The conditions, structurally, are reminiscent of 2016. Whether Richemont will return to the destruction strategy or whether the world has changed in a way that makes the strategy no longer viable is not yet public. The company has not announced any new buybacks at this scale. The most recent quarterly report noted that the chairman said the group is working to manage inventory in a disciplined manner. Whatever that turns out to mean, in practice the principle remains the same. A luxury watch brand in 2026 would rather take a watch back at full wholesale and destroy it than let you buy it at a discount. The watch you cannot find at Cartier today, the one that has supposedly sold out, may never have actually sold. It may have been built, shipped, returned, and quietly disassembled in a warehouse in Switzerland, never to be worn by anyone. The next time you walk past a Cartier window and see a watch you cannot quite afford, marked at a price that feels to you slightly absurd, remember this. The price is not what it costs to make the watch. The price is not even what the market will eventually bear. The price is what Cartier is willing to lose by burning the watch instead of selling it to you. That, in the end, is the cost of luxury in 2026. The watch you do not buy is, increasingly, the watch nobody is allowed to have.